Hello guys, it's Masterpiece here, and today I'm going to go over my cross-heart deck profile. So, I want to say this profile does emphasize on the Shoutmon X7 Superior mode. So, if you want to know what you need, why you want to use that card, here's why. So, starting out first, classic, 4 Pikmons, get the draw when swinging with the cross, your whole deck's cross, you'll be fine. Sparrowmon, one of my favorite rookies because I like how it's sort of just a 5k at level 3. So you also have a lot of checks you can reuse that Pikmon effect a lot of times. Annihilation is great. Its reboot inheritable is great. But most importantly, it goes along with a lot of the X7 stuff. So it's also why it's a key part of the deck. We're not emphasizing on the rush portion where we try to use X3s, X4s a lot, and Mervermons. No, Sparrowmon's great. All I have to say. So we can move on to the next rookie. Shoutmon. Shoutmon feels a bit funny because sometimes I don't want to play it for 4. But you do need to play for 4 sometimes. To search top 3, get a Tamer and a Digimon to your hand. That's great. But one, the key part about this Shoutmon is going along with the level 4s, really, so they can rush. And that'll be our Shoutmon King, Shoutmon X3, 4. So yeah, that's when it's great. And speaking about like inserting it to rush, you can insert it into the Shoutmon Star Sword. So Shoutmon Star Sword can use the Shoutmon and the Starmon you have in the deck profile to just sort of play it for 3, wipe a 5k, or wipe both. I believe you can wipe both a 3k and a 2k. So yeah, that's really cool. You can sort of you can do like a mini board wipe if it's like a bit early game, and or you can just minus just for later. You want to try to get over something. But another main thing besides rushing for a cost of 3 at times is that it counts as one of 2 sources. It's not both. It can't be Shoutmon underneath X4 and a Starmon. It has to be a Shoutmon or a Starmon. Pick your goodness other than that. But I love the Shoutmon Star Sword. Adds more flexibility to the deck. Next we have Starmon. Starmon is, well, I love the inheritables. Obviously the same as Pikmon, where you just swing, draw. It's a simple card, and use it in a lot of our X-Sevens. Alright, going into our last rookie, this may seem random, and it kind of is. So, on play, get back across from your trash and put it on your Tamers. You have Duralmon, you can place 2 Digimon underneath the Tamer instead. Now, why do I play this card? I'm playing this card mainly because you might want to increase the rookie count. Sure. But it's mainly for the Shoutmon X7 Superior mode. You want to get as many different cards in your deck that are not of the same number as you Digicross with it. And Cumon's one of them. And let's say sometimes people delete your Tamers. The Cumon may help you try to get back those things if need to be. Like against Black or Greymon, let's say. So, it's not a horrible card. It's just one of the cards you may be able to take out for other things. Next we got Ballistamon. Ballistamon is great. It's a blocker. You can definitely combo off the Zenjiro, our green Tamer, to get played for free, or be played for sort of 2. You can play Ballistamon for 2 if you have the green Tamer. So yeah, I like this card. Also, Pearson's great at times. You don't really get to suspend anything, but you can definitely punish opponents if they swing. Surprise them with a truck in X4, X3 to go over them and pierce. And I don't have to say this every time, but it's also really great to go into all of our Digicross stuff. X4, X3, X5, X7s, and so forth. Alright, another important champion we have is Shoutmon King version. You can increase this if you want, or I just keep it at a 1. He's one of the reasons why I do play this deck is because I got this from Regional Participant. He's nice and foiled. And okay, I'm not going to continue from there, but just want to say that I'll play with Digivolving is great. First is that, like, it's not one or the other. It's either or. I'm not sure that made sense, but you can play a Taiki. Sadly, it's not Taiki within his name, so you can't play the White Tamer will be playing. But you can play our red Taiki right here. So you can really just set up a really aggressive board. You can have a Shoutmon King first turn, set your opponent at 3, the Digicross, get a Tamer, get champions, next turn swing, it dies, you get to save 2 things. One being the Shoutmon King itself, another thing being either just another save Digimon in your trash. which could be the Blistamon or something else that you might have swung with next turn after. So yeah, Shaman King version might bump it up to maybe not, but I definitely want to keep it in 1 for every cross deck following. Alright, cross 4. Cross X. This card, I preferably want to play at 4, but I can't. It's limited. And it's super broken. You can play this for 1, draw 2. Drawing 2 is a lot better than X3's searching, because you just don't whiff, okay? And you have a lot more private info. One key thing you didn't want is just having private info. You don't want your opponent to guess what you can do. You want to surprise them. And an attack effect is just so broken. You just like material save 4. Essentially what it is. Material save 4, and you get to restand. Try combo onto something else. Into an X3. And insane. Glad that we limited that. We're trying to reduce his power, okay? Next we have Shaman X3. Okay, I just say sometimes the start of turn effect is important. It's a May effect, so you don't have to delete this Digimon to gain 1 memory. But sometimes it's important if you want to reuse the materials underneath it. So don't forget that is an option. I think some of my games I should use it. But yeah, I think in my future games I'm definitely gonna remember this effect. His other effect is on play, search across or blue flare. And this is one of the few cards that can search your Z Greymon. Most cards in this deck can't really search it. So if you're hunting for Z Greymon for X combo or make X thing cheaper, use this card to search. Other cards are most likely gonna whip it. Either search it through these searches or just try to draw when attacking. It's very simple on why we play this card. Similar to X4, it's just if you have all the cards, it's a cost 1 rush if you have the Shoutmon rush in your source. Next we have Durulumon. Durulumon is great. Use it in all your Digicrossing. Wipe the board a bit, or either make something weaker by 3k until the end of your opponent's turn. So let's say a rookie's buffed. Let's say an Agumon, right? An Agumon enemy side got boosted to 4k because of a tie. Yeah, pass over turn. They'll be back to 3k, not 4k anymore because ties affects the start of main phase. You can delete that bad boy. I don't think that's exactly a situation you would use it for, but I'm just saying it's good to know that until the end of your opponent's turn is the thing. The inheritables doesn't really matter. Though it can, okay? I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it's not. I think most of the time, at least recently, it has not been too much of a problem. And what's interesting is that the inheritable is not a when attacking or anything like that. It's just while this Digimon under one of Shoutmons is just on the field, it's just minus 2k for it. So that's interesting. You can definitely swing with your like big stack last, just to let all your rookies try to swing and maybe perhaps live. There's some strategy with the cross deck besides just Unga Bungai. On a Shoutmon, these be our next card. We're gonna go into our ultimates. The one Digimon effect doesn't really matter. Okay, so don't worry about that. You definitely can warp Digivolve it from a Shoutmon to delete something. But the main important thing is first it being it's inheritable, and it's being used for a lot of our big crosses. So yeah, Scary Attack +1 can help you definitely rush and end some games. Alright, next will be Shoutmon X5. Shoutmon X5. Well, first it can be played for free if you have all 4 sources. Unlike every other card where it costs like 1 or 2 to be played, this is cost free. You have everything, and it has built-in Security Attack +1. It has built-in blocker, which is great. So it's really strong. It's really strong and aggressive early game, and usually with such strong effects and keywords, you don't get material save. But this guy gets material save. Sometimes I do want to bump it up, but this is a deck that's focused on superior mode. However, if you're focusing on a more rush deck, you might want to bump this up. Next we have Z Greymon. Z Greymon is one of the cards that kept talking about that if you search Blue Flare, if you're trying to search for this card for the it's just gonna get bought. Okay, it has a Blue Flare hittable, not a cross. Just watch out for that. When Digivolving on deletion effects don't really matter. It's all about using this as Digicrossing and its blocker effect. Not much to say because we're just focusing on the inheritables. So we're gonna move on. Shoutmon DX. Do you ever play it? No, you don't play it. It's playing for 7, and you get to delete a 6K and stun one thing. That's great. End of attack, you can delete it to gain 1 memory. That's great. Is it perfect? No. You're mainly using this for your superior mode to have a more diverse stack. Yeah, that's mainly it. And you could use it as another plus side to replace one of your Omni Shoutmons or Digimon that you don't have in your hand. Because this acts as sort of like Shoutmon Star Sword, one or the other when Digicrossing. So yeah, that's also interesting for that deck. Alright, going to X7. One of our few to last cards, or few to last megas, is going to be Shoutmon X7. Shoutmon X7, if you have everything, can be played for 2. What's great about this card is you don't need Shoutmon because it's not, first of all, it's not within the sources. So it has that built-in rush within it, and it has material save, which is great because sometimes next turn your big board can get deleted pretty easily. So material save is always really good. On play gets to delete pretty much anything you want because it's 13k plus, 1k plus for every source you have underneath it. So yeah, really good. It's hard to say much about it because it's not a complex card. Next, the star of the show, Cross X7 Superior Mode. So, what's interesting is that you can Digicross from your trash. We don't have too many cards that does that besides the Mervamon. So, it's good to see that inclusion, as sometimes your Tamers gets deleted and all the sources underneath it with all your Digimon, you're going with it. You can get it back with this card. However, you can't Digivolve or Digicross using stuff from trash unless you Digicross right away with a Shoutmon on your field. So the Shoutmon has been on the field. You can't just place a Shoutmon from your hand. So you can definitely rush with the X5s, X4, X3s, or with the other Shoutmons. Or you don't even have to rush with them. You can just play it safe, try to keep them on the board, and it took them in superior mode to now Digicross further into your whole stack. Now, how cheap can we play this card? You might be wondering, like, we have a diverse list. Is there a reason for that? Well, let's count it off. It would be, counting superior mode with it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 16 cards. 16 diverse cards, and that does not... And obviously that's 1 memory plus over the X7. And we're not including tucking in a Shoutmon underneath, which is separate from the Digicross thing. Okay, so you overall Digicross for like 17, minus 17. Well, you get minus 16, minus 17, yeah, and just play this for free potentially. I definitely play this for a lot cheap, very cheap. So it costs 2 or 5s. It's a great card. How is it a great card? Oh, first, against Buildsmon decks or against other material save decks, this is great because this bottom decks the one Digimon on the field, including sources. Usually sources gets trashed, but we're also bottoming the sources. Really great. Your turn, it has delicate plan, but not just delicate plan against option, delicate plan against Digimon. So they have a gatekeeper. F you, that's not activating. Put that in the trash. You're not recovering, you're not gonna gatekeep me, okay? I hate you, Reaper. If you know why I hate Reaper, watch my video of Crossheart versus Reaper. Anyway, continuing on. Shoutmon X7, one of his downside is, like I said before, is that it just doesn't have material save, and material save is really important. So all 16 cards that you put underneath it can just be wasted once it dies. So just understand what your opponent can do to you and how they could potentially delete it, and just play around them. Next we have Samurai Buster. Samurai Buster is a one of, and we do play a lot of yellow and red Tamers, a total of like 7. So, and this can definitely be played for cheaper if you combo it with Zenjiro. So, let's give you a situation, okay? It costs 5 personally, right? Samurai Busters play Akari. Akari plays Zerulomon. Zerulomon activates Zenjiro effect, where you can tap it to gain memory. It will only play 2. So let's say you have max 2. Now Samurai Buster costs 3, and you get to minus not only how many DP This will decrease. It's Summer's Buster plus 3k. So at least 6k if you just have one thing on the board for some reason. Or one yellow Tamer on the board, just from what you're summoning. But yeah, really good. Quite big bodies and for cheap. And it helps a lot for setup. Really good card. Sadly, it's out of one of the... Yeah, we got Mana really hitting Cross hard with that double limit against his deck. But if he didn't, it would be a menace. Next we have Senjiro. Alright, I talked about this card throughout the whole time. On play, you get to play Ballistamon. Right away, you can tap this card to get a memory to play it from playing a Cross Heart. So you can play this card, get a Ballistamon out, tap it, and now you just played a green Tamer for 2. And you can definitely profit more and more as you summon a new Cross card. And it's just really great. This is a card you can definitely bump up to 3, bump up, not really 4, I don't think you can bump up to 4 anymore, but 3 to 2 is a good spot for it. Next we have a 4 of Taiki. Taiki is one of our key generals, especially our cheaper one. Great parts about it is that he has to accelerate the deck as you add 1 card to your hand and tuck in a card underneath. Now, one bad point about this card is its very specific text. Reveal top 4, add 1 cross to your hand, and place 1 Digimon card with cross underneath. And boy, did I lose a game because of this effect. Yeah, I had searched top 4, got 3 Tamers, 1 Digimon. That Digimon is what I really needed to kill my enemy. But because only one is my only Digimon from that search, I had to tuck it in and just grab a Tamer to my hand. So yeah, watch out for this effect. Other effect is just you can tap this card, you can Dig Cross with any Digimon under your Tamers. But I think you know that effect. If you don't, well, there you go. Alright, next we have Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene. One reason why we don't play a memory setter is because this is sort of our memory setter. And not that, it helps us dig in our deck. So we can play, well, start our main phase. Remember that if you don't have to, you just tucked it in, tuck a Digimon in to get that memory and draw. You pass your hatch phase because you started your main phase. So watch out for that. It is our main phase effect. If you catch your opponent lacking, don't forget to point that out as well. But yeah, to gain your memory and draw one is really great. I mean, why else wouldn't you want it? It's also a general just like Taiki, so you can tap it to get. Alright, for our last card of the deck, and we'll later go into our side deck, is gonna be Akari. Akari will play Durulamon and just get minus 3k. Now, why do we play this card as a 3 of instead of a 2 of like Zenjiro? Or just swap the 2. It's because we're trying to dig in our deck. Our opponent is to get not our opponent. Our goal is to get as many cards in hand, make our X7s, both of them, cheaper. That's the whole point of the deck. As we are now the boss monster. We're not rush deck. We're just a boss monster deck. If that makes sense. So yeah, it's effect when suspended can get you to draw 1. That's really good. So let's say you play a Shoutmon to search. You can now draw with that. And you just dig faster and faster. Shoutmon X4, draw 2, draw 1 more. Shoutmon X3, get 2, draw 1 more. Yeah, you just never feel short in hand because of this. Alright, that's about it for the deck profile. But now we go into our side deck. Our side deck is simple. We have 4 cards. It's depending on what variant of the deck you want to play as. I think Shoutmon King is one of the card you want to put in your deck. I just don't play it because I don't have the card. But this is one of the cards that can let you get back a Digimon from your trash to your hand. And you may be wondering, haven't I been interacting with my trash a lot? Yes, but you have. That's correct. But you've been tucking in under your Tamer this whole time. This is the one card that can grab it to your hand. The secondary effect is also great. With Digicross, you can substitute any material you need for this Digimon. So let's say you're like a Digimon short to play your X7 for like 2. You can just use this Digimon. It's fine. The only sad part is that it's on play. It's not like a passive effect of your turn, but it's fine. That's why it's a 1 of. Well, I say you would play as a 1 of. Next we have Final Crossblade. Crossblade is first a security bomb you may just want in your deck. Let's say you love security bombs like me. You may want to play this card. Next is it's an interesting card where you can just sort of have that big hero moment at the end of the game. The enemy has a blocker. The enemy has a gatekeeper. What do? You are going to delete that Digimon. If you're to play this card, delete that Digimon in your effing way. Unsuspend because your opponent because your opponent is expected, and attack for game. Yeah, this is the go for game card, and you've been digging in your deck. This is not at the bottom of your deck. You've been waiting for this moment. You've been waiting for this moment. You're gonna swing for game with Final Crossblade. Okay. Now, why didn't I run this card in my deck? I'm still experimenting. Okay. This is one card I might want to take in. I think it's a great card. If I find a pre-release stamp for cheap, I might get it just flex. That's about it. Final Crossblade is great. Yeah, Crimson Blaze is optional. I say it's based on meta more than you should put this in your deck. So if you're getting to whiteboard meta, you can play this deck. You can play this card for like 2, 3, at least 60 or less. Another good part about this card is that if your opponents play a lot of Digimon effects, you don't really have anything to do. Like you can just pass turn by playing this, and your opponent's just sort of like dead. If your deck plays around like playing Digimon effects, I think a lot of people forget that that's a secondary effect. So don't forget that. Really good juicy tech card for the meta. I think this might actually also counter Ravemon. So interesting. Alright. Next we have Mervamon. Mervamon is one of the cards that helps you rush in this deck. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first you can play this card for about, because you Digicross for 3, play this card for 8, and you can play 2 Digimons level 4 or lower. And they both will come blocker and have rush. Now you can now play back your X4s and X3s to help you just accelerate your deck in drawing, and now you also have 2 blockers to just block. Or you can play Shoutmon King, because Shoutmon King has a green on the Legion to not again to save itself, but also save something from the trash that you need. The thing Mervamon has the extra points in rush decks, especially with the new Shoutmon King version. So, if you're playing rush deck, definitely take those 2 cards in as maybe 2 ofs in deck. If you want to play as more, go ahead. I don't disapprove. So yeah, gets you pretty much double blockers or triple blockers, because you can also count this Mervamon as something to block with. And also, if your Digimon didn't have Shoutmon Rush underneath, like on your X4 and X3s in the future, it doesn't matter. This card gives all the cross cards Rush. Alright, last little tidbit of me loving this card. It's a cross heart. So you can tuck it into spirit mode, and this will help you just get it for cheaper. So if you don't like any of the 1 cards that are like one of for this deck, because I want the spirit mode to get cheaper, you can take out Cubemon and take a Mervamon. Sure, go ahead. Alright, now I'm done. I'm done with the deck profile. I'm done with the side deck, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day or not, the choice is yours. Goodbye.